Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of my Corner and Eye with MC Dakwan, the comedian. Now, in this very edition, I'll be discussing the challenges that are being faced by house hunters in the city of Harcourt. So, if you are watching this video and you have encountered any form of challenge in the course of house hunting, please, I would like you to drop those your challenges in the comment section. We are currently discussing on the challenges that the house hunters face in the city of Harcourt. Like I said in the previous video, if you have encountered any form of challenge, be in the hand of the landlord, the agents, please feel free to drop those encounter in the comment section, and we'll definitely react to it and we'll discuss and learn more better. You understand? Now, there are several challenges that are being faced in the course of house hunting. Which one of them is the financial implication of the house hunting? You cannot house hunt when you don't have money, so the finance is very, very paramount. Now, because of this financial aspect of house hunting, there are different things that we need to dissect in this very edition. Now, when you want to house hunt, there are different things you need to look out for. For example, the basic rent. You need to budget yourself. What is the basic rent that I'm looking at? You need to consider the location. You need to also consider what kind of apartment are you looking out for. You understand? Now, these different things also helps in building your financial capacity or strength. A situation where you don't budget what you actually want to spend in because of this house hunting, you are going to face this challenge because you'll be having different properties being shown to you that are far above your budget, and at that point you'll be like, oh, all these agents, all these landlords, their houses are too expensive. You cannot be staying in a place like Oyiba and suddenly you want to use the budget of Oyiba and come and look for a house in Moji. It's not possible. You can also carry the budget of Igbeche house or Icheaz's kind of houses to come and compare. In as much as most of those houses may be more sophisticated than that of Port Harcourt. Yes, no doubt about that. So now, since you need to consider when you're looking out for an apartment in the city of Port Harcourt, let me really just drop this in this very edition. You need to consider first your budget for the basic rent. Number 2, you need to look out for security. Number 3, you need to look out for power supply in that environment. Number 4, is it a waterlogged area? Number 5, which environment are you looking out for? Number 6, you need to also consider what are the different factors that make that place to be what it is. For example, is there supermarkets, schools, hotel, mall, companies also. These different factors always makes the environment to be quite expensive. Above all, school is another thing that makes a certain environment to be more expensive. Now, a lot of environments, there's nothing to write home about. Yes, but they are selling the things that are within that environment. For instance, imagine going to rent an apartment
in Iwofe or within Ignatius.
There's no serious company that you can say, oh, it's because of this company that is making this house to be expensive, or because of this business venture that is making these houses to be expensive. But for the fact that that area is student environment, automatically the houses in that area is very expensive. No doubt about it. Why? Because they believe whether you rent it or you don't rent it, they must always rent out that an apartment. Why? Because they believe that if the A doesn't rent it because he or she cannot afford the student, they must rent that property. Yes. So these different factors also contribute to the challenges that people face in the course of house hunting. Now, also another challenges that people face in the course of house hunting is the agents. I'll still tell you where the agents are at fault and where the landlords are at fault and where you are the real fault. Keep watching these different editions because, like I said, it's going to be series. But if you are not following us, do well to click on the follow button, follow us, and also follow us on YouTube. On YouTube, search for MC Dakwan to be displayed on the screen. Search for MC Dakwan on YouTube. Do well to follow us on YouTube because you are going to learn out of this where you are at fault that's leading to this high cost of house increment that we are facing. So hit this point where the agent are the problem. Now, the agent are the problem in the sense that they are not really sincere. Some agents are not sincere. They don't place trust and value first before money. They place money and trust and value can go to hell. That is part of the challenges that you face in the hands of. Why I'm not including myself, because some persons will say, but you are an agent. Yes, I'm an agent. I'm a realtor. I'm also a professional event MC. Now, because I'm a brand, I do my possible best to ensure that I don't just give out properties that will harm you tomorrow. And if I take you to such environment and I tell you, oh, looking at this environment, this place is like this, but you are in love with that environment and you love the property. Why am I to stop you? I can't stop you. I'll just allow you. You rent the property and you stay. Let it be that you use your own eye to witness, especially those that are not staying in Port Harcourt for too long, or they are just relocating to Port Harcourt. They are the major victim of this. I will be sincere enough to tell, oh, this place is like this place is like this, and here then tell you, MC, leave that in first. I like the place, I like the area. And after renting the place, they will now come back and reach out to me and say, oh, if I knew, I would have listened to you. And the agents are at fault in the aspect of, one, happen to tell the agent the kind of house you're looking out for. your budget. For instance, you reach out to me, my first 3 questions to you are usually: 1, your location, the kind of house, and your budget. These are my 3 questions. Now imagine that you give me answers for this my question. Now tell me, oh, I'm looking for a 1-bedroom flat at Woji at the rate of 1.5 million naira. And probably I've been looking out for this kind of property that befits this your budget, and I haven't seen it. And a certain landlord will now, or somebody, or my fellow colleague will now tell me, oh, there's this property that is available within this Moji environment. It's going for 1 million naira. I'm using myself as a case study that if I happen to be such an agent, the agent will now go out there, tell the landlord, sir, ma, I have this prospective client. He or she is looking out for exactly this kind of apartment. Is what this my client is looking for, and his budget is 1.5 million, and this your building is going for 1 million naira. Please, I would like you to do something for me. When I bring this my prospects come, tell him or her that this property is going for 1.5 million, and the landlord might scream and say, no, that is too expensive, it's too high. You told the agent what you expect to be in that house, thinking of this your budget of 1.5 million. Now that agent will now tell the landlord, Master, this house really befits what this guy is looking out for, and he or she is really willing to pay for this house. And as a result of that, if the landlord or the landlady is a greedy person, they will buy into that agent's idea, and by so doing, they will end up renting the house for you at the rate of 1.5 against 1 million they are renting in that environment. So these are where the agents are really the problem. Some agents, they instigate the increment, and landlord will not see that, oh, this person paid. Before he closes and open, the landlord might be motivated to raise the rents to do this thing to that standard of 1.5. Suddenly, yes, a lot of agents, they are into this kind of activity. Some agents now also in the financial problem that you face as a house hunter. Some agents will also add up the rent. Add up in the sense that the landlord can actually tell the agent that maybe managing because those are the kind of agents that are doing that. Those agents that are managing properties directly. The landlord or the landlady can tell the agent that this my property is going for 1 million naira, 1.5. Let's assume 1.5 for a 2-bedroom flat here in Moji. The agent will look at the environment, and because he knows the high cost of properties in that Moji environment or in the Rumebiko environment or anywhere at all, that agent will add up something to that amount. For instance, you can actually keep it at the rate of 2 million naira for the 2-bedroom flat. Yes, it happens. A lot of agents are doing these things, and in the cost of doing this, backfiring you. That is why we are discussing the challenges that you face. That's why I said, drop your own challenge that you are facing in the comment section. Let's hear from you. I can also pick it up and discuss your own challenge that you face and why it happened. Okay, so that is part of the challenge that is being faced by the house hunters, the financial implications as we are discussing and dissecting. Now, these are part of the errors that the agents are doing that is also disturbing, increasing the high cost of house renting. Another thing that some agents are doing, that property might not have management fee by the landlord or the lawyer. They'll fix management fee. And when you pay that management fee, the management fee is still going to them. And their agents that are doing all of this, please, people should refrain from this. So you don't give the genuine agent bad image. Yes, it's just like in the police force. There are good police officers and there are the bad ones, but the bad ones are more than the good ones, and therefore people generalize all the police officers to be corrupt. So also is happening in this sector. So please, dear house agent, I'll plead with you to be sincere in this business. Your client are your clients. You go make money, no mean saying that one day you go carry hammer. So my fellow agent, I'm begging you guys to be sincere enough with your clients, your prospective clients, so that at the end of the day, they can have the best of the service from you. You understand? Guy, this money no easy. Make una take them easy, because put yourself in the shoes of some of these your prospective client. If na you way, then they call this money give you fee. That is part of the things you should examine yourself before choking people with your high cost of property. Stop adding a certain fee to the rent. Stop adding management fee when the management did not actually add that fee. So anyway, stay tight, and if you have not followed this page, please do well to follow me at MC Dakpan, the comedian. If you are here to subscribe to our YouTube channel, do well to go on YouTube, search for MC Dakpan, DAKPAN, that is displayed on the screen, and follow so you can be watching the full edition of our clip. In this very edition, we still continue what we have started already. We have discussed part of the challenges already, and we are still dissecting the financial challenges in the course of house hunting. Ladies and gentlemen, we have discussed how agents make houses to be very expensive, and in this edition we'll be discussing how the landlord make the houses to be expensive. Yes, now in a certain environment, let's use Romasi to be precise as a case study. In Romasi, a certain street, there's this landlord or there are this set of landlords that believe in neat, standard and luxury kind of apartment. They will maybe give everybody quick notice. They take their time, renovate that apartment. After renovating this apartment, they bring it to the limelight, raise it to the standard of living, and haven't seen the standard of this house. Maybe make it POP, for instance. They make it POP, put the latest toilet facility, latest bathroom facility, latest wardrobe, everything latest. That will give you that comfort of that you are expecting. Now, in the course of this landlord renovating this house, so after this landlord is done with this renovation, he will now increase the rent automatically from probably 500, 700 that was the previous rent to 1.5 million naira. And you as a prospective tenant that wants to rent this an apartment, when you go to inspect that property, you now discover that, wow, oh my god, this is what I'm really looking out for, and it meets your expectation. You gladly pay that money. Why? Because the house is standard and is worth the money. Yes, latest toilet facility and all of that. You pay the money. Landlord B will see this policy and he will not want to know what actually happened that's making you to successfully rent out your own apartment at the rate of 1.5 million. He also wants to rent out his own at that same amount. Having seen that you are doing this, you are renting out your own at the rate of 1.5 against them that are still renting 500, 700,000. You will now do well to also find out why is your own like this. If you discover that you did 1 or 2 renovation, he will also put his own house in order. Probably he might not be able to do a POP as landlord he did. He might change his own from cement ceiling to PVC ceiling and repaint the house and ensure that whoever that parks out, he repaints his house before giving it out to the next client, a prospective tenant. And by so doing, even if he's keeping his own house at the rate of 1.2 million, 1 million, people definitely patronize him. Why? Because at least his house is neat, clean, and standard also. The biggest problem that is making houses to be very expensive by the landlord C. So the other of them all, which is this landlord C that is really making these houses to be quite expensive. One, the houses are quack, very dirty, looking like a dog house or a pig house. The height of the house is nothing to write home about. Ventilation F9. And you still see them having the boldness to tell you this my house they go for 700 for 1 million. This my house they go for 1 million, they go for 1.5. You know, pay leave them. It happens. If you have encountered this part of this very challenge, please drop it in the comment section. You have gone to inspect a house that is not worth the money at all, and the landlord is still standing on his own ground. Please drop your comments in the comment section. Now, this landlord are the biggest challenge because landlord A, landlord B, they have renovated their houses, they have cleaned their houses is now going for this amount. Landlord C will jump up and also raise their rent without doing anything, and people will still rent it. Why? Desperation. I will discuss the desperation in details when I will discuss how you are the problem. You are the biggest problem that's making house rent to be this expensive. I will explain this desperation better. Now, this landlord will raise this rent, and the house rent will also be on the increase side. And if you don't pay it, leave it. Somebody else will pay. It happens. Now, from the angle of the landlords, where they also make houses to be expensive outside, them renovating the houses, pimping up the renovation generally, putting the house in order, and raising the rent afterwards. Another thing that they are doing that is giving them the edge to increase the rent is development of that neighborhood. This is another point. Development of that neighborhood. As the area is developing, they are also raising their rent. For instance, you go to places like Rumasi as a case study again. Rumasi that have shell company, Obinigba, that have shell company. They capitalize on the shell company. And it is easy for you to rent house close to shell. It is easy for you to rent house where shell company did, where shell workers full. All this kind of mindsets, it helps in making the house rent in that neighborhood to be very expensive. Some of the landlords will go the extra mile by telling you, oh, you don't even know that the water we are using inside this house is shell water. The same shell water people are driving from far to come and fetch is what you'll be using for free inside this house. So by so doing, the house rent is always on the high side. Now imagine going to Odili Road. There are some houses in Odili Road that is not worth it, but because of the environment, the development at Odili Road, right there, the houses there is high tension. There are some houses in Jerry, it don't make sense, but because of the name, government residential area, people are rushing in. The calibers of people that are living there is also making houses in the environment to be expensive. So when you are looking out for a house, do well to analyze which environment are you looking out for a house, where are you looking out for the house, and all of that. We are still dissecting the challenges house hunters face in the course of house hunting. We have discussed a lot already, so if you did not follow from the beginning, do well to go on YouTube to subscribe at MC Dapan, follow us, check out different series. So don't go anywhere, stay tight and watch till the end so you learn out of this. You don't also fall for the same error anymore. This will be discussing briefly how you are the biggest problem that's making house rent to be very expensive in Port Harcourt. And the first set of persons that are really the biggest problem we are facing, high cost of rentage in Port Harcourt. That is part of the challenges we are facing. One, the Yahoo boys. The G boys are our biggest problem. Some of these guys will rent this, they will go to these houses, the landlord will say, oh, the house rent is going for 2 million. Whether it's worth it or not, they will rent it, renovate it to their taste. In space of 6 months max, maybe they cash out 1 or 2, 3 times, they're out of that place. They go to another environment. The landlord will not capitalize on that meeting and say, oh, can't you see that this my house is POP standard? This is the amount you'll be paying. And if you don't accept, another person will still pay. It's part of the challenge you are facing. Number 2 categories of people that are the problem also are the hookup girls. These people are not salary earners, the G boys and the hookup girls. Is G. they are not salary earners. So they don't even care whether the house is expensive or not. They believe under 2-3 nights for the hookup girls, they can actually pay their bills. For the G boys, under just one client we pay, they can renew that rent. But for the salary earners like you and me, it's not like that. We need to struggle as we are collecting our salary, we are analyzing. This one is going for house rent, this one is going for this. It's not easy. So these 2 set of persons are the biggest problem we are facing because of this high increase of house rents. Now, outside these 2 persons, the next problem, or how you as an individual is also adding up to the high cost of house rent in Port Harcourt. Desperation, like I stated in one of the points in our previous edition, and I told you that I'll be explaining how your desperation is making this to affect everybody generally. Number 1, like I also gave an instance, landlord A renovated his house. Landlord B renovated his house. Landlord C did not renovate. He doesn't even care whether the house is okay or not. He just believes somebody will pay, and definitely people will pay. And now, who are these people that pay for such kind of houses? There are people that over desperation are disturbing. Now, let's assume the rent is about to expire and you did not take time to plan yourself. You knew very well you're not going to renew your house rent in your current apartment, your current place of residence. You are not going to renew your rent. You did not so start on time to plan. So your rent is about to expire, you did not start on time to look out for you another apartment. At the very injury hour, that is when you start looking out for an apartment. In the course of looking out for this apartment, you are desperate. Any house that you see is very okay for you, especially maybe your previous landlord or like a landlord that gave you quick notice. With this type of person that doesn't take anything like a beg now, doesn't listen to anybody's plea. He just is there, as he's telling you, the next 1-3 days pack out. If you don't pack out, it's a problem. And because you want to avoid that problem, any house you see is very okay for you. It's very okay for you. So long as you can put your head, it's very okay for you. Now, those are the people that fall under the categories of that landlord C. House that is not worth 500,000 because you are desperate to be paying 1 million for it. House that is not worth 1.5 because you are desperate to pay for it. You don't have a choice at that moment. So please, when you are looking out for an apartment, start early to look out for an apartment. I tell every of my prospective clients, their houses, their standard 1-bedroom flat for 700,000 or 500,000. In Woji, in any part of Port Harcourt, there are, except all these houses of GRL, the little that you will not see. Because I did not mention this part. But in Woji, you can see a standard 1-bedroom flat, POP or not, for 700, 800, 1 million. You can see it. But if you are desperate, you will not see. So start on time to always look out for an apartment. Because whenever you are desperate, any house that they are telling you 1.5, 2 million, that is not worth it, you pay. You have no choice at that point. So please, always learn how to look out for an apartment. Take your time, look for an apartment on time. For instance, you want your rent to be expiring. This is currently March. Your rent will be expiring in the month of August. Please start from this March to be looking for houses. Start from now to be looking for houses. Because if you start early to look for a house, it will give you enough time to decide the kind of house you want, the kind of house you don't want. Have a choice. But how do you have that choice? For instance, they show you a certain house, and the house fine, but ventilation no day for the house. You move. And the house fine, I don't like the area. You move. And the house fine, but landlord is stay for the compound. I know if you stay with landlord, you move. But when you are in a hurry, you cannot decide all these things. Whether landlord is staying there, it's not your business. Landlord say gates closed by 8 o'clock. At that moment you are desperate, it might not be your business. It's after you are packed in that you now discover that thing that was not your business is now your business. So please always ensure that you look for a house on time to avoid you renting some kind of houses that they are not, that it doesn't worth the amount, that is not worth the amount. Please, that is all I have to say in this final aspect. But conclusively, like I said from the beginning, on this financial matter or challenges, the environment you want to rent house matters a lot. Please, I beg in the name of God, don't carry your house rent of Oyibo and you bring it to Port Harcourt to come and look for a house. It will not fly. If you are staying at Oyibo and you are paying, let's say 500,000 for one bed, or 350, 250. The client who woke me from sleep and was Like, hello, good morning. Please, am I speaking with MC Dakwan? I said yes. He said, okay, so Mr. So, give me your contact. That's a house agent. I said yes. He said, okay, I'm looking for an apartment. I was like, the budget, the location, and kind of what I'm looking at for. She said she's looking out for one bedroom flat at Promodara with 250,000, in range of 250 to 300,000. Try God. Agent, so that they see something to do. I laugh at it. I know that, like, at that moment I was like, should I get angry? Should I laugh? Why you go wake me from sleep with this kind of budget? Sir? I just told the woman bluntly, madam, carry the money, go find single room. Because you cannot see self-con at Mudara. This Mudara Quora asks, you can't see a good self-con. With even your 500, you can't see that much more one bedroom flat with 250 to 300. Who does that? So imagine that kind of budget you are bringing in this week, and tomorrow such person will go and tell people, all these agents, and then they make house rent cost. You are the problem. Never forget. Don't forget to follow us, subscribe, and watch our different series. If you did not join us from the beginning, we are currently discussing on challenges house hunters face in the course of house hunting. See you in our next edition. Alright, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at this point we have come to an end of this very edition. Watch out for the next edition. Here we'll still discuss part of the challenges that house hunters face in the course of house hunting. We have discussed on the financial aspects, and we are done dissecting. The next point we'll be discussing is the power problem. Power problem in the sense that the light aspect. Who is to be blamed? You that is asking useless questions, or the agent that is lying to you, or the landlord that is also deceiving you? Who will you blame? We'll see you in our next edition. If you are yet to follow up, please, I'm begging you, do well to subscribe and follow us on YouTube at MC Dakwan. Search MC Dakwan to come up. You will subscribe. Search on Facebook MC Dakwan or Akpan Dennis to come up and you follow. See you in our next edition. Please subscribe.